What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Wednesday's massive 10-game NBA DFS slate. I don't know why I said massive like that, but it was really nerdy. We're both coming to you from a great mood. I'm in a great mood. You know why? Because there's only been half an hour of basketball so far. We're coming to you nice and early. I got a massive 10-gamer to write. You got some bedtime to get to. We're going to tuck you in early on the East Coast. Rayen Patnaik, how's it going, buddy?
It's going well, clearly, because there's just the 7:30 game has tipped off. The 8 p.m. games just started. So we are not in Tilt Fest by any means. We are just going to go right into this 10-game behemoth Wednesday slate.
I'm going to go out there. My fiance is going to be like, why are you in such a good mood? And I'm like, because I have no idea what kind of mood I'm actually in, because there's nothing been decided yet. Normally I come out and she's like, why are you so sad? You just recorded with Rayen Patnaik. And I'm like, well, obviously I'm poorer than I was 3 hours ago, but hopefully the tides are changing, coming to you early. So before we get going, get down to that bottom bar, hit the like button, definitely hit the subscribe button. That goes a long way for us, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all the other content, I should be able to say content at this point, content is going live at Awesemo. You ready to get going, my dude?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Top end of point guard, again, 10 gamer. We have a Sacramento-Washington matchup in the early matchup. I don't know if you saw that. Oh, look at those eyes. Those eyes are exactly what I was looking for. Sacramento and Washington is the first game on the board. So holding your lineups for later isn't exactly as viable as it normally would be. And plus, we kind of know where all the production is coming from on the Washington side. But I digress. I just wanted to let that be known on the front end. James Harden, 10,900 up against Indiana. Not a bad spot. We're seeing crazy assist rate. Continues to just do nuclear things. 21, 15, and 15. What's crazy is he didn't eclipse 60 on FanDuel, even with those numbers, I believe. I think it was something just a little bit lower because of the turnovers. On DraftKings, where you get a triple-double bonus, and they're only worth the negative 0.5. I love getting to them. Luka Doncic, 10,700. Another guy who had a phenomenal game the other night, 68.5. Somehow, I don't think he ended up in the optimal anyway, because you had Jokic go off, you had Jimmy Butler go off, you had some other guys go off. That it's been a fun run though for Luka Doncic as well. And then Russell Westbrook in that main event game, 10,400. Oh my Lord, talk to me about all of the things at point guard.
Yeah, well, point guard in Sacramento, Washington, we got Fox and Westbrook. Both these guys in this particular matchup. It's a 10-game slate. I don't really advise game stacking, but organically, you could definitely get both Russ and De'Aaron Fox together in a lineup, and I have no complaints whatsoever. Serious upside in a total that is looking at 245.5. Things are opening up right now. So that is a serious, massive total to take advantage of. And at that 7 p.m. game, obviously Harden and Luka, fine pay-up options. Luka versus the Clippers, he just played them the other night. Played really well, actually. So definitely considering them fine options there, man. Point guard definitely seems like a place to pay up for. In terms of the mid-tier on both sides, I think we can consider Derek White again. I know this is going to sound like a broken record, but there's still no DeMar DeRozan, and this guy's been battling foul trouble early on, and it's a pretty solid matchup against Chicago.
What if I hate him? What if I hate him? I just hate him.
You shouldn't.
Oh, okay, fine. Then I'll play him again. Then I'll go back to the well. Continue.
You actually, I think he's a good player, and I think there's an upside there. And hopefully the field is obviously burnt after what happened last time, but both the guards in DeJounte Murray and Derek White against Chicago should be in play. I expect them in a competitive game to play both north of 30 minutes. Ben Simmons still. I'm going to be riding Ben Simmons with no Embiid, at least for the foreseeable future, at least the next 3 weeks. I know it's against Milwaukee, but I'll still be going with Ben Simmons. And even though these guys are health and safety protocol relieved, or they're fine to come back, they're still hesitant to bring back Van Vliet and Anunoby. Expect the Raptors to now come back on Friday, so that means we can still go to Lowry against Detroit.
Love it. I was just kidding about Derek White. I'm just very upset for him ruining all of my good lineups, and he wasn't even somebody I was like crazy high on, but obviously was starting. This is a much better spot than the Detroit spot, so I'm happy to get to a little bit up against Chicago. No problem there. I definitely will. Again, point guard is stacked. This is a 10-game slate. you got to hit on a lot of these guys. Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be 6,800 again. He's going off here early. Now down $200 to account for this Golden State matchup, which is up pace anyway. I'm so confused why he went down $200 for that. But off to a good start in his first 6 minutes. Again, we're coming to you at around 5:20 on the West Coast, 8:20 your time. Depending on how he plays, he's going to be chalk or he's not going to be a chalk play. We'll find out. But you can kind of play your guys on a 10-game slate. That's kind of the fun part about it. There won't be a crazy amount of ownership invested in one particular spot unless, again, you have 8 guys playing for Houston today. Anything else you want to touch base on for the point guard position?
No, I think we should hop on to the shooting guard position.
Love it. Top end of shooting guard. We're going to stay on DraftKings. We're going to give them a little extra love here on the front end, and then we'll go to FanDuel. But Bradley Beal, 9,300 in that game du jour up against Sacramento. 9,300 is not enough for Bradley Beal in this spot. I will have a lot, I'm sure, on DraftKings. Kyrie Irving, 9,100. We're seeing him just kind of shoot the ball, score the ball, do all the Kyrie Irving things. Looks fantastic. Had a great game against New York. 34 real points. Still only got to 44 fantasy points, 43.75 on DraftKings. That's kind of tough when you don't get any of those other counting stats that James Harden's getting all of. Not rebounding the ball whatsoever. We've only seen one game, I believe, over 6 rebounds in the last 8. So he had an 8 rebound game up against Boston. But yeah, that'll be a tough one when you can go 200 up to Beal. And then 8,800 up against San Antonio. Zach LaVine, again, we'll see how he plays tonight. A lot of teams on back-to-backs. Talk to me about the top end of shooting guard.
I'm going to ignore your thing of going to the top end of the shooting guard. I'm going to go to FanDuel 4,400, Karis Levert versus Brooklyn in a thank you game for saving this guy's life by trading him. And he's going to be an amazing play at 4,400. I really love going to Karis Levert. And I think we can definitely he's played 26 and 29 minutes now against Brooklyn. Sign me up. I had to lead off the shooting guard position on FanDuel where you roster 2 with him.
It's all right. It was a great bit. It was a great bit.
But going on the other side of things, I think we get Harden, we get Beal. Man, I like saving those $1,500 and going to Beal. At the 10-game slate, you can do a lot with $1,500. So that's definitely an option to consider. Now, Oladipo on a back-to-back, is he going to play? I'm going to give you a shoulder shrug. I don't know what Houston is doing. Paul George is now priced at $7,600. It was Slate's a pandemic P the other night against the Mavericks. Same matchup again. I'm going to go right back to him. $7,600 Paul George is very, very cheap. And now the other guards in this Sacramento-Washington game, we got Buddy Hield and Tyrese Halliburton. I like Halliburton compared to Hield because you're saving the $200. You heard it. Also, there's no Marvin Bagley, and I believe Halliburton came in when Hagley went off.
Yeah, he started the second half. Yep.
So in a matchup versus the Wizards, I maybe expect Luke Walton to do that again. This is a game that's going to move. And I think Andrew Wiggins deserves a shout out at 5,400. That price has fallen to a point where at 5,400, we know Wiggins can put up 40 fantasy points, and we'll definitely take that over there on FanDuel. That's really it's a 10-game slate. It's loaded. You'll be able to pivot off ownerships here and there and still find a way to be in a very confident position in just a pure ownership play.
I will say Buddy Hield looked good. I don't want to say that. It sounds awful, but he looked good the other night. I wouldn't mind having a little bit if it fell into my lineup. Again, this is an elite game environment. Maybe one of the best game environments we've had on the entire season so far. I'm looking at Wiggins 5,400. I really like that. Seth Curry 5,100. I didn't have any today, but obviously could see an increase in those minutes. We'll see kind of how some of the injury news shapes out. One guy I'll give a shout out to because he's kind of been consistent, has played elevated minutes. This isn't the Washington matchup. He's had back-to-back games, but he's still under 5K on FanDuel. Dante DiVincenzo's 4,600 down here. He tends to play well come about March. He's one of those, I believe Villanova, he was pretty good then. I like getting to a little bit of him, smattering of him, but God, Karis Levert, 4,400. Mega chalk, once again. Have fun with that. Anybody else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I saw DiVincenzo just become the love child of Jordan and Kobe in the national championship game against Michigan. He was amazing in that national championship game, and the reason why he gets that first-round pick is because of that performance. But, yeah, we can definitely consider DiVincenzo in this matchup. But I think a 10-game slate, and hopefully we get some serious value to open up throughout the day. Teams are on a back-to-back. and hopefully we can be able to jam in a ton of these studs tomorrow.
Get ready for stars and scrubs. Most big slates are. That's just kind of what it is by default, but there are a lot of really nice mid-range options there because you do have both of the Sacramento shooting guards, because you do have a couple of like Wiggins, who's underpriced. Tyler Hero's 5,300 now gets Memphis, so little pace up spot, but I'm right there with you. Guys, we're going to move to small forward, but before we do, 50% off right now. If you're a new user, if you are listening to us right now and you're like, I want to try out Awesemo.com, that is where I want to be. 50% off of a week of Awesemo Plus Platinum right now using the promo code Shamrock. We have so many good things down the pipeline. We've got all of our NBA content, which if you're listening to us right now, you're probably pretty familiar with at this point in time through our YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on Spotify, give us those 5-star reviews, but also head over to Awesemo.com and check out. Also, we've got MLB getting ready to start, so we'll have a little spring training action as it kind of like winds into the season. We'll have NHL projections. Jake Hari has been the man this year. Definitely done some nice things for my wallet this year, so he can do them for yours too. I assure you, everybody that we have over on this side of the paywall is putting out such elite content, so much work. So take advantage of that promo that we have going right now. So promo code Shamrock. Stop guessing, start winning. Top end is small forward on FanDuel. I'll start over there here. Jimmy Butler is 10,800. We see Bam Adebayo back. I mean, you're getting $200 savings off the 11K number he was at there. I did play a little bit of him over at 9,800. I was at least double the field. I think I got to like 20%. I know Bam Adebayo comes in and he affects that rate quite a bit, but it goes from 1.56, which is just outrageous, to 1.41 with Bam Adebayo on the floor. I still like getting to a little Jimmy Butler, just maybe hard at 10-8. But again, a great Memphis matchup. I don't think they'll have any issue with the Cavs tonight. So looking at Jimmy Butler 10-8, maybe I'll have a smattering on FanDuel, but it'll be tough considering you've got Kawhi Leonard at 9,300 right below him there. That'll be a spot against Dallas to kind of decide if you're going to go him, George, what you want to do there. Pascal Siakam has actually got the questionable tag, so some of these Raptors might be emerging from the crypt here at the after sitting out forever. God, they're going to be rusty. It's going to be really gross, but they're getting a Detroit matchup. Yeah, it's slow down, but man, are they bad at basketball. So 7,700 Pascal Siakam, I could see getting to some. If he doesn't go, Norman Powell 7,700. Sure, why not? Talk to me about small forward.
Yeah, we got Butler and Kawhi. I love saving those $1,500 to Kawhi. We saw what Kawhi did the other night against Dallas, put up 53 fantasy points, put up 4 steals, and I'll take Kawhi in that late night hammer, 6:30 West Coast, 9:30 Eastern. Hammer really is a solid option.
Bubble run back, yeah, baby.
Definitely. And I think if Siakam all systems go, I'll have interest again, 7,700. There's not going to be Van Vliet tomorrow, so definitely Siakam Powell ownership. It's going to be interesting what this Raptors team comes in at. I do think a couple of them will be good against Detroit. Other guys who are definitely in play is Gordon Hayward. Was very, very solid the other night against Sacramento. Again, Sacramento will really do it to you. Jaylen Brown and Middleton, both in the same price range on FanDuel. Definitely options to definitely consider over there. And DraftKings, definitely Kawhi Leonard. It's definitely firmly in play. Other guys looking down, I think we got guys like Wiggins again, Kelly Oubre. Definitely those guys are some people you can look at. Will Barton was very solid last time out. Man, on a 10-game slate, I know we've been indicating stars and scrubs, but this slate seems loaded enough where if you get a balanced build and you can pinpoint your guy has an upside for 50 points, I think you can make it happen on a 10-game slate like this. And all your guys get 50 points, yeah, you're definitely going to be sitting up on top.
Rui. You ready? Rui. Keep it going. Come on, it sounds like Rudy. It's a nice bit.
We're gonna go back to Rui.
Oh yeah, we are. 38 and 36 minutes the last two. Y'all, nobody trusted me, obviously. He was under 10% on FanDuel at 4,900. He's only 5K. Best matchup possible here. 38 and 36 minutes. He looked assertive. Like, that's the thing that's not necessarily always data-driven, but you can see it in the minutes. You can see him playing better and therefore maybe getting more run than Deni Avdija, than some of these other guys. I mean, Scott Brooks called him out, and he kind of responded, which is nice to see from a young player. Obviously, somebody that I really liked coming out of Gonzaga was an absolute special basketball player, I felt like there. And I'm going to get to a lot of him at 5K tomorrow. What's your interest level there? I guess guess one other guy to throw in, Kenyon Martin. He's 5K. So thank you, FanDuel, for not making him the min. Well done. You did one thing well. But we'll see what those minutes pan out on. If they're shorthanded again, him and Kevin Porter, 6,300 at small forward again. But talk to me about Rui quick.
Yeah, it's the matchup. Sign me up. I'm going to have interest in multiple guys in this game. There's a chance multiple guys are exceptionally good. It'll be tough to say, see like maybe 4 guys getting an optimal on a 10-game slate from this slate, but to be able to spread out your exposures to the guys in Sacramento, Washington definitely seems like a way to go. Maybe, I don't know where to draw the ownership line on a 10-game slate. It's going to be tough to see where those guys all come in at and making your decision points, because I really love the matchup for both teams, and I think there's serious upside for many guys across the board. Other pivots off of Rui, let's say if his ownership is like way too high, because he's a guy who could still fail, right? Any guy can really fail for us on a slate of this size, but Saddiq Bey is kind of an ownership-only pivot. He's not really someone puts up a ton of peripherals. He really has to get going from the outside. I know Keldon Johnson's been disappointing, but we can go back to him in a recency bias ownership. And if Larry Nance keeps starting, I think we can consider him as a couple pivots off of Rui Hachimura, especially there on FanDuel. Over there on DraftKings, like spending down, we can go to Josh Jackson, 5,100, Saddiq Bey, 4,900. And that's really it. It's tough for me to really get interest in a 10-game slate, guys under 4K at times. Lonnie Walker, if he starts 4K, yeah, I'll have interest in him. Someone who was he was okay. He was solid at his the game last time out. And that's really about it to run things out in the small forward position.
It gets so hairy down there. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, Henry Ellenson played 18 and 20 minutes the last two. He's 3,100 on DraftKings. I had more questions about Henry Ellenson than I was comfortable of dealing with on Live Before Lock one day. I was very, very confused. I think that was Sunday. It must have been Sunday that they played, because oh boy. So 3,100 Henry Ellenson, back-to-back games of actual minutes, but please be back, Pascal Siakam. That's all I got for you there. Top end of power forward. Let's move it along. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 11,400. It's Giannis. It's Philly. I don't care. Like, you just play Giannis. You play a lot of him. He was phenomenal again the other night. I don't understand. 73 FanDuel points, and people just don't want to jam him in all in, and I get it. Like, there's the days where he'll burn you, but the days that he's exceptional like that, I know he was 30% or whatever it wasn't high enough when you had the savings in other positions. Domantas Sabonis, 9,200, gets a nice Brooklyn matchup. We saw Brooklyn kind of go smaller. Not necessarily smaller. Jeff Green ended up in the starting lineup, played fantastically well. I expect him to garner some ownership again, and then DeAndre Jordan in there, but Domantas Sabonis can win in any matchup, so I'm happy to get to a little bit. However, I am expecting his usage rate to come down as Karis LeVert starts asserting himself as well. And then Jason Tatum, 9K up against Cleveland. Slower matchup, but Cleveland is really bad at basketball, and 9K Jason Tatum, why not? Talk to me about power forward.
Yeah, over there in the power forward spot, I mean, you rattle off some serious studs. Giannis, Sabonis, Tatum, all have massive upside. Sabonis against Brooklyn. Yeah, that matchup for him is definitely in a great spot for him to really explode. He only put up 41.8 fantasy points last time he played him in 34 minutes. Maybe he gets a bit more of an upside going against this Brooklyn team. I like going to bigs against Brooklyn. We've seen guys put up a number across the whole season. Other guys, Porzingis and Tobias Harris. Porzingis has been playing better of late in terms of just efficient shooting. You'd like him to play mid-30s minutes, the highest I've seen in terms of box score. He's played no more than 34 minutes, and you would like him to play around that minutes range against the Clippers. And we know him; he can put up an upside. Boucher obviously has an upside. I like going to Jeremy Grant on the other side of things. He took a serious hard fall against San Antonio last game out, and I think he'll be ready to go against this Toronto team. I think he can put up a pretty nice upside. They keep starting Thaddeus Young. I think he's a fine option to consider. We'll see how he does today. Maybe that will dictate some ownership. And Draymond Green always has triple-double upside when he touches the court. So, and against a matchup, I believe against Houston, is something that we can definitely take advantage of and ride Draymond Green. Spending down, it'll be tough. If Daniel Tice continues to start, sure. Jeff Green, I think will have a lot of ownership coming off a game where he put up 36 fantasy points. You like the 34 minutes, obviously, but it's tough to rely on Jeff Green minutes day in and day out. And Maxi Kleba is someone we can definitely consider all the way down there. And Marcus Morris, only 3,700, and he'll be starting yet again. And that'll be a significantly owned player on a 10-game slate. So where do we draw the line to pivot? That's going to be a question that hopefully the Awesemo.com NBA channel tomorrow can help us answer for starting with us and letting into live before lock.
Yeah, and you're going to have the process in the morning. You're going to have the strategy show. You're going to check out the boom bust tool right before you go to the tip off. And then you're going to go to the deeper dive and then live before lock and then the late slate swap and sweat and then us again. How about that, guys? You have some options to pick up on some news throughout the day, but definitely check out that boom bust tool. That'll definitely help you figure out leverage. I do also want to keep in mind there's certain plays like Moses Brown where they'll end up with a negative leverage score, but you do have those guys that approach that 50% in the optimal lineup. That's kind of what you're looking at here again. Somebody that can really kind of go off in any situation, and even if you get a little bit of that negative leverage score, don't forget to account for that boom score because he will end up in the optimal quite a few times, even on a 10-game slate such as this. Daniel Tice, yeah, he's going off right now, so I expect him to garner some ownership. That's gross. Talk to me about anybody else. You ready to move on to center? Are we going to wrap this up so quickly today?
Yeah, other guys in the power forward spot. For some reason, if Bam Adebayo is ruled out, 6'7", Kelly Olynyk in a pure GPP play, take some shots. We didn't mention Harrison Barnes, another great piece in that Sacramento game. We know the minutes are going to be there. You might get even an extra few more minutes with no Bagley. I like going to Barnes at that power forward position over there in DK, 6,500. Going down, Rudy Gay has been playing consistent. Not consistent minutes. He has not been playing many minutes. He's only played around 20 minutes. I would rather take my chances with 32 minutes of Keldon Johnson instead. All the way down there, let's see who else sticks out in terms of pricing. Marcus Morris, man, that guy is going to have probably one of the highest owned players on the slate. And I think it's going to be good ownership in the sense the guy played 30 minutes last time. Shot effect, went 6 of 11. Okay, maybe he goes.
It's about an average outcome for him there in that spot. I think. I mean, you're right on that. I mean, 4,100 on DK. I'm gonna have gobs and gobs of him again. He was it was nice to get him at like what 18%. I think is what he ended up in the $20, and I had 100, which was nice in that contest. But Derek White, I'm still mad at you. Anybody else?
No, we're going to talk about a guy in Ibaka who's rolled out his front court mate in your boy Ivica Zubac in the center spot.
I just love him so much; it's unbelievable. Top end on center on FanDuel, Nikola Jokic. What can you say? I mean, Jokic and Giannis have been like my two favorite spend ups for 2 months now, 3 months. They kind of were last year for the most part too. It'll be something similar. The one thing you do have to take into account for positional equity is like. What Russell Westbrook 10-4, De'Aaron Fox 9,100 on FanDuel. Both of those look really, really nice as well. Those are guys I'm going to want to spend up for a lot. And so you can't spend up at every single position, but we have options throughout the board. And God, Jokic, if I can get up to him, I definitely will in a lot of spots, especially because the difference between him and then the next guy, Jonas Valencianos, who gets a Miami matchup that should be tougher. He's played fantastic, but he still hasn't eclipsed 30 minutes the last two. Even in 2 games that they went off, Memphis got blown out against Phoenix, but 43.8, 48.4. That would still be a terrible outcome for Jokic in this spot. So, like, Jokic from a raw points perspective just dominates the position. Jared Allen will be on a back-to-back 7,500, now a tougher Boston matchup. But if Tristan Thompson's out, you're going to get a smaller Robert Williams and Daniel Tice front court. And then Rashawn Holmes, 6,900. I expect him to get a lot of ownership coming off of going completely nuclear. 40 minutes. You've got Marvin Bagley, who's going to be out with his broken hand. Rip. Very, very sad. But 40 minutes of him sounds like a lot of fun against Washington. Talk to me about center.
Yeah. Versus Washington, Rashawn Holmes. Coming off a career game, really, in terms of fantasy-wise. $6,700 is going to give sticker shock to many people, but I think we can definitely go with that as an option. I have no issues going to Holmes at that price tag. Pivots off of him, Boucher, Draymond Green, if you want to play in the center spot. Mason Plumlee's minutes have been kind of coming down. So This is kind of interested. Maybe we should be kind of ahead of the curve on Isaiah Stewart, who's only 3,900. And I believe he has power forward eligibility on FanDuel. So that's like a kind of just trying to see what Detroit's doing. Let's see if this is kind of a trend to see forward. Maybe we see those minutes a bit more split as the season winds down, as Detroit enters the Cade Cunningham sweepstakes. Actually, they've been in the Cade Cunningham sweepstakes since the start of the season.
By default. Yeah, from day one.
Yeah. But we shall see what ends up happening after that. Dwight Howard, 5K. I think if you expect Bradley and him to split the minutes, one of those guys I feel like has a chance to be good. But Ivica Zubac, 4,500 on both sites. On a 10-game slate, there's a lot of merit of spending down to him and trying to pay up elsewhere and jam in the certainty with some studs. So Zubac in a matchup against Dallas, the same one we saw the last time out, he played 34 minutes, put up 30 points. If you can get that again, it's going to be hard to move off of him for sure. Man, it's Zubac, and really it's everyone else right now.
Honestly, this is my favorite slate ever, just because you said that. If you know me, you've ever heard me talk about Zubac, I have nothing but glowing things to say. I love the man so much. Polished center too. Like, he's good. He's good at basketball is really what it comes down to. He was good with the Lakers, got traded to the Clippers. He was the best center they had in the bubble between him and Harrell. Harrell came in late. Still now, I don't know who I would take straight up. Probably still Zubac. I like Zubac that much, but maybe that's just a homer take. I'll pump the brakes. I'm recognizing that that's not the best take I've ever had in my life. Going down there,
I think Zubac is definitely. If they played Zubac, I don't think they blow a 3-1 lead against Denver. If they played him more, but that's last year. Things have changed, and Zubac is a very solid center.
Doc Rivers is still trying to ruin our lives, but some things never change. That's true. 3,800 James Wiseman on FanDuel. Last guy I'll give a shout out to. Played 23 minutes against Utah. That was more competitive. Lakers 27 minutes, obviously in the blowout. Yeah, I'll probably get to a tiny bit, just maybe as a pivot to get a little bit lower, get somebody to get a different roster construction. But the last guy I really want to talk about, because I thought I would see his price tag come up. It didn't. Mo Wagner didn't play. Robin Williams was kind of out. Alex Len, 3,500. I don't want to do it, but against Sacramento in this spot, I'm assuming just it was a blowout that he didn't end up seeing any of those minutes towards the end of that game against Milwaukee. Can I do it?
Yeah. One of his former teams is Sacramento. So that alone should be a reason, right?
Revenge. Yeah. I think that was his first team though, right? Wasn't it? That's the first time I remember.
His first team was Phoenix. Phoenix,
okay.
Atlanta,
Right.
Sacramento, Toronto. And now he's in Washington. Yeah.
God, you're so smart. That was very attractive.
I do think that if that's
actually the path. I do remember him in Phoenix now, lightly, but
he was the lottery pick. Yeah.
Yeah. He was out of Maryland, I believe, right? That would be crazy if I got that one right. I don't know. I used to bet a lot of college basketball. I don't bet nearly as much college basketball, but you can if you check out the college basketball package for $29.95. Matt Gajewski, Ben Rasa, they are the men. Guys, I know Thursday's the big day, so get that package now. Check it all out. You can do the gambling. You can do the DFS, all of the good things. It is the best weekend of the year, every single year. I'm so glad because it's been 2 years since we had this beautiful, beautiful time. I know you're stoked, Michigan guy. Iowa State fired prom, so I'm very, very happy. We're going to get a new coach. Yay, this is great. Talk to me. Anything else you want to say to the people? I guess we're all done.
Yeah, in terms of March Madness, I want all you guys who are listening in the YouTube comments to drop your Final Four predictions in the YouTube comments. I want to take a look at some of your guys' predictions. If you can do that for us, that'd be fantastic. It's March Madness season. It's going to be a ton of fun. Check out the Awesemo college basketball product app. It's a fun DFS slate as well. It's fun to play it on those first couple of days, and I'm sure just by using our product alone, you'll have a significant edge against the field.
Huge edge, lots of fish. Let me tell you, $15, $25K to first. See you guys there. Guys, this has been a blast. 10 games, got in under half an hour. Beautiful stuff. We will catch you guys again on Thursday. Also, put caps lock on your pick to win. So pick your Final Four, caps lock on the pick to win. We'll add ours to the bottom as well. Guys, we'll catch you later. See you then. Bye.